4, 3, 2.
Christ, that sounds very serious. Album number 1, Clash, Public Enemy, Guns N' Roses, all over that. Album number 2, Thin Lizzy, classic rock, all over that. You totally changed. Album number 3, Alice in Chains, Joy Division. Then Everything Must Go, and your new record. Have we missed something, or are you out there on your own now? Is it just you?
I think we're out on our own. Yeah, I think we always have been out on our own, out of place, out of time, and quite unfashionable. And I think there's more of a thread between Everything Must Go and the new album than ever before.
Now, you recorded Everything Must Go in France with Mike Hedges and Dave Eringa. And how do you pronounce his second name, actually? Dave Eringa.
Dave Eringa.
Eringa.
He's actually of Dutch stock. His grandparents, I think, are Dutch Germans, and they always.
Yeah, it comes from a long line of cucumber farmers.
That's true. You've gone back there for the new album with the same producers, and that's the first time ever that you've done it in the same place with the same people. What was it that made you go? With the quality of the baguettes, or what's going on?
No, it's just like, Mike's studio in France is probably, kind of the only legendary studio we've ever been to. It's just like a musical museum. Everything's dusty and cobwebs all over the place, and you just got to kick things to make it work. But like, he's got the old desk from Abbey Road. Bit of lineage. First kind of lineage we've ever come across.
Lyrics from the new LP. We listened to like 5 songs off the new album, which is all your record company would let us listen to. And we said, what's going to be the next single? And the person in the know went, oh, it's going to be Black Dog. What on earth is a black dog on your shoulder?
Winston Churchill used to suffer from manic depression, but he never admitted to doctors. In his diaries, he just said, black dogs on my shoulder.
Oh, that's all it was?
He called depression Black Dog. And that's what the song's about. It's kind of about, it's not like a rock star messed up depression. It's about ordinary people who get on with their lives even though they're racked by loads of emotions.
One more lyric I just want to go over, and that's from The Everlasting. In the beginning, when we were winning and the smiles were genuine. Is that right?
Yep.
So what's going on? Is this you smiling, your audience smiling? Who's smiling, and is it genuine?
No, it's us. It's about the first 6 to 10 months of our band life, probably the most glorious times of our life. I've kind of never been quite the same since.
I can understand that.
Only in a mental state, it's not like everything's shit or anything. It's just that those are the times when we genuinely kind of, we knew what we were all about. Not so much confusion.
Okay. The last words on Generation Terrorists. There's nothing I want to see. There's nowhere I want to go. So what are the last words on your new LP?
South Yorkshire mass murderer.
Sleep at night.
How can you sleep at night? It's a song about Hillsborough disaster.
Oh yeah.
It's quite a doom-laden, intense hymn of evil.
No, it's more beautiful than that.
No, I mean the music is beautiful, but it's quite a dark lyric.
Odyssey.
Well, yeah. When I talked to the Smashing Pumpkins, and I said that their album was like a wolf in lamb's clothing. It's kind of like that, isn't it?
Yeah,
your new record.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the darkest songs, Black Dog on My Shoulder, for instance, is quite a heavy, so to speak, lyric, but it's probably the most beautiful music on there. So, whereas before, say, with the Holy Bible, the music was ugly and the lyrics were ugly, I think now it's different. Yeah,
there's some musically very uplifting moments on there, and it's weird having this sort of juxtaposition, could be using big words, of such dark lyrics.
I have to say the quote of Generation Terrorists, I still feel exactly that way. I mean,
is there anything that you want to see, and is there anywhere that you want to go?
Not really.
Honestly.
Well, Nick always sees his lyrics through existence rather than experience.
Yeah.
Which I think is a good way to write lyrics, really.
Your new album sounds enormous, with walls of strings, and as well as guitars and organ, and some queer little sounds in there, and a sitar as well. How will this translate to the Manics live scenario?
Probably won't. I mean, we never really pay attention to any of the minor details when we play live. It just becomes a big mushy mess. It's just where we are.
So you'll have your keyboard player sort of thumping out the
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've had that for the last 4 or 5 years. We had a practice for the first time yesterday.
It sounded great, didn't it?
And we got on stage, it just sounded like, really messy and Just like the Clash used to. Emotion and the physicality of being on stage just takes over you and you just want to jump around really.
Manics live. You've got a UK tour coming up with Mogwai.
Yeah.
Was that your choice?
Yeah, it was. I know. I mean, I love the album. It's just something very. It's kind of nice hoovering music. I don't know how fans will think about it, but it's just something different, isn't it?
Where's your favourite place to play apart from the UK when you're playing live?
Ireland. Just because we've got no fans anywhere else.
Oh, surely.
It's not that much fun touring Germany sometimes, it's got to be said.
Everyone says that. Sorry,
James likes
Very
it.
much.
I like Germany.
James likes the sausages.
Yeah, I just like all the meat.
Oh, okay, all right. You're a pork product man, are you?
It's old-fashioned carnival.
You're doing a rocking gig in Ireland, a really attractive-looking gig at Slane Castle with the Verve. Who's headlining that one?
The Verve, of course.
It'd be daft.
Of course.
We know our place.
What do you mean? Surely, I mean,
No, it's the
that's not
Verve's
as clear
gig.
cut as that.
No, it's an honour to be, to play with him.
So, do you like him? Do you
Yeah,
like
I
the
think
music?
he's a really underrated lyricist, Richard Ashcroft. I think he says a lot of good things, and like nobody else could. He seems genuinely quite spiritual, which is bizarre in this age, really.
In Castles. James, I know you were there because I saw you there
Yeah.
at Stereophonics at Cardiff Castle. What were your thoughts on that gig?
Just, I thought they were brilliant, but I just, felt a genuine sense of jealousy, just because it's a brilliant place to do a gig.
This one's for the Manic Street Preachers, basically, and the Welsh flag came down. It must warm your cockles, mustn't it?
Yeah, I kind of put a tear to my eye. It's the first time somebody been generally nice to me for a long time.
I kind of can't believe that. But,
No, it's just cool, it's just kind of... We're the kind of band that always be embarrassed to say something so heartfelt as that. So it's always interesting to actually watch other people wear their hearts on their sleeves. I suppose.
We're always a bit too cynical, really. It's just the nature of the people we are. So someone is, brave enough to do something like that.
Well, you said you were jealous of him playing the Castle.
Oh, I'd like to
be
play-
the first gig in the Cardiff Arms
Oh,
Park
it'd
would
be
be quite a
amazing.
feat, wouldn't it?
The Millennium Stadium, as it's now called.
Oh yes, of course, yeah. And it's like, I still call
course you
Snickers
should.
a marathon,
Yeah.
don't I?
Yeah, no, I know.
Well, they were going to call it Princess Di Stadium, thanks God. They
Oh, good God.
Thank God, never
blimey.
call it that. I'd have blown the place up myself.
You really are kind of responsible for Welsh people being able to hold their head up high. Young Welsh people to being taken seriously, and bands being taken seriously.
I kind of, the only thing we can kind of take credit for is convince people that a good band could actually come from Wales, or good bands could come from Wales. But it's just good that all those bands just sound different from each other, But that's the kind of when we started, just kind of people liked us, and then when they found out we're from Wales, they didn't like us. So it took all those years to convince people that a good band could come from Wales. That's the only thing we can take credit for.
Attitudes have so changed now.
Yeah, they have. Yeah.
Definitely, and you were sort of at the top.
I mean, there's obviously going to be a lot of shit bands coming out of Wales in the next 2 years because we've had all the good ones. It's just cyclical, isn't it? I mean, I think Super Furry Animals are the greatest band in the world. But I genuinely like Catatonia, I genuinely like Stereophonics, and it's not because they're Welsh, it's just because I genuinely think they're brilliant bands, and that is the core of it.
You were kind of the first band to come out and say, we are at puffy chested and sort of braggadocio and go, we are the total dog's bollocks and we are going to make some of the most exciting records that are ever going to be made. And the way that I remember it, you were the first ones to do that. And now I don't have to tell you how the bands that are doing that now. I mean, there's so many of them. When you see these bands doing this, what goes through your mind?
I still think it's the bravest thing in the world to do, to be completely arrogant when you've got nothing. It's still a hard thing to do even in this day and age. I mean, it was harder for us because we were completely out of time and completely out of step with everything. And if you could be that arrogant with nothing to back you up, then I'm all for it, Wish more bands would be like that because that's what it's all about.
You mentioned the Super Furry Animals being the best band in the world. What other bands are you listening to now, all of you guys?
I like the Embrace album. I think it's really graceful and nice.
Who've kind of mellowed. They've kind of mellowed now. And
everybody does when you get older. If you don't mellow, you become a sad old tosser who's reliving their youth for the
You can't
rest of
compare
it.
White Riot to Lost in the Supermarket.
I mean, the last thing I want to do is end up like Neil Young, and everyone goes, Neil Young's great. He still wears shorts and sings "Rockin' in the Free World." I'd rather for the had retired and stopped inflicting us all this shit music for the last 15 years. Just because you're old doesn't mean you're good.
Only like American cartoon punk bands think there's something to sell out to. You got, hey, it's gotta be punk, it's gotta be punk, it's gotta be punk.
You have done the oddest covers, haven't you? You've done so
Bring
many.
that one up for.
Huh?
You've done sort of covers of like heavy metal bands, and then
It's so easy. Like Guns N' Roses.
yeah, but then you've done some really, really odd little ones. But Bacharach and
Camp Van Beethoven,
yeah.
Primal Scream.
They mostly come out on your B sides. You do some really
No, I mean, it's just kind of songs of when we were young, really. I mean, Velocity Girl by Primal Scream was way before they ever became popular, so to speak. It's really indie. Their first or second creation singles.
Yeah, second.
Soundtracks to our youth, really.
And it kind of
All minor
represents-
metal.
Nicky Wire took on the burden of lyric writing. Surely it's not a burden.
No, it's the main mode of expression I get. I try to put everything I can into lyrics. Everything I'm inspired by, everything that depresses me or saddens me. I try to put in lyric. I think we're probably a little bit more constructive than we used to be. We were incredibly nihilistic, and I think our nihilism is kind of still there, but we kind of.
I think it's the opposite anyway. I think lyrics took on the burden of Nicky Wire.
You got a lot of help from your brother, who is
I do,
a man
yeah.
of words.
He had a play called Everything Must Go Before the Album. I nicked his title. He had a poem called Neon Loneliness, which kind of made its way into Motorcycle Emptiness as well.
Every single single had a literary quote on there.
Yeah.
Are you more inspired? Do you find yourself more inspired by writers than musos?
Yeah, we've always said our music is influenced by, kind of more than just music itself. When people ask you that question, what your greatest influence is, and they always tend to be, people aside from musicians, really. The rest of other bands, it's different, isn't it?
Found a great quote from Flaubert. You could probably quote this at me. Be regular and ordinary in your
God,
life.
we've had down on a mug.
Have you?
Yeah.
Really? Oh, I love it. I love it. Be regular and ordinary in your life, that you may be violent and original in your art.
It's true.
That's you in a nutshell, really, isn't it?
That's synthesis, isn't it? No, what's it called? Synchronicity? When people meet on two lines of thought, isn't it?
If you tolerate this, very cool video, by the way.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Whose idea was that?
Well, Wiz, the director, this is our fourth video we've worked on with him, and we didn't want like a literal interpretation of the song, otherwise it would have been bullets and,
Land and freedom and stuff.
walking around Barcelona, getting shot at and stuff, so just wanted something organically futuristic. And it's kind of Stanley Kubrick-esque and Gattaca, and it makes us look, very handsome, which is a feat in itself, really.
Now, you mentioned Gattaca. Can you just explain it, thereby explaining that song?
I mean, the Spanish Civil War is just something I've been fascinated with since I was in university, and it's to do with the International Brigade, really, the way people joined up from every country in Europe to fight against fascism. It's something that would never happen today. And I mean, George Orwell's homage to Catalonia, the Clash's Spanish bombs, is like something kind of based around those two things, and it's just kind of a warning that, there's a civil war in Yugoslavia, there's ethnic cleansing going on, but no one cares about it. And there's no way, Will Self would go and fight for the International Brigade like, George Orwell did. I mean, I wouldn't do it either. It's self-criticism as well. It's just kind of a warning.
Do you think you found yourselves?
For the time being. Tracy Emin, she said she wanted to find out about the rest of the world, so she just shagged loads of blokes of different nationalities rather than going there. I kind of thought
That's a valid thing to say.
I thought it was really cool.
There's a lot to be said for that. That's a wow. Language school could take on a whole new meaning, couldn't it?